The Seven Deadly Sins had turned into one of those anime that had a lot of potential to be great. Just remember that word had. The world was very well explained, and we learned a lot about the history, lore, and magic system across Season 1 to build a solid and stable foundation, which was praised and well reviewed. The animation was smooth, and we learned a lot about Captain Meliodas, as well as almost all of the sins. We got this solid explanation of the journey and why Elizabeth was on this path with them. In truth, it started out really well, showing that foundation we talked about earlier and building the framework around it. But Season 4 absolutely nukes the wall, the frame, and the foundation. With a great story and its twists and turns, how could this happen? So, Season 2 had deeper character development that genuinely made you interested in their future, and it further explains their past and what motivates the sins. There are a bunch of motivations that we can emphasize with, such as Ban's backstory with his father figure, or Meliodas trying to obtain his full power while fighting against his internal turmoil and his depressing past. We learn how Elizabeth is a cursed reincarnation. One of the best moments is meeting the Chad of all Chads, Escanor, as he defeats 2 of the 10 Commandments. We see how strong he is when he fights Esterosa and launches a small sun at him and his brother. Meliodas wakes up to save Elizabeth from 2 commandments, showing he is now stronger, but he isn't the same person. Meliodas takes a bit of a sinister turn, fully killing a commandment. From there, we move on to Season 3, which, from a storytelling perspective, is solid. We start getting answers to backstories and the lore, from races such as the demons and angels to Elizabeth's reincarnation. It was very satisfying. But the animation was absolutely horrible, and there was a lot of drama regarding the previous studio, A1, and the current studio, Studio Dean. A1 was told to make a standalone movie with the 7 Deadly Sins, and the movie flopped sadly, which makes A1 go on the chopping block. Aniplex decided to go with a different direction, and they chose Studio Dean. Studio Dean's most notable works up to this point had been Konosuba and Log Horizon, so they had some great experience behind them, but not as much work as A1 had done. Also, they were told they needed to make Season 3 within a year. Most studios make arrangement years in advance to avoid what they went through. Studio Dean had to outsource the animation work to the South Korean animation company Marchjack. The frame rate was shoddy, the faces were drawn loosely, and they used a lot of still shots with no movement whatsoever. There are scenes where no one moves for 5 seconds. It completely pulls you out of the experience, not to mention the censorship. Where there should be red blood, they replaced it with some white, shiny liquid. Instead of showing Meliodas as a pincushion, they completely blacked out his upper body. Mouth movement isn't lined up, and possibly the worst sin of all is the Meliodas Escanor fight. The animation completely takes you out of a well-told story because expectations are set, and when this happens, it really sucks because the story up to that point had been so well told. I guess it wouldn't be fair to the anime as a whole if we just kept dunking on it the whole time. As I stated before, the story is a good one, and if you're already involved, it's not completely unwatchable. We learn about Elizabeth's past lives and how the Demon King and Goddess fought Meliodas and Elizabeth, and it's very touching. Not to mention, the previous commandments play a strong role, and Meliodas with his newfound power keeps you wanting to know how everything will play out in the future. And when it comes to the 7 Deadly Sins, the future of that anime is yet to be seen. The story's been strong enough to carry past many of the faults it has, but the faults also make it hard to stay involved. There are many questions left to be answered, and some of us still want to see the fun stuff that lies in purgatory. There are many events and side characters that aren't the sins that I haven't mentioned. One thing is for sure, from a storytelling perspective, we here at Anime Replay want to see how they pull off the ending. And we're interested in the characters and lore regardless of the animation. I mean, I made it through the beginning of One Piece. I think I can make it through one season of bad animation. Jokes aside, I expect Season 4 to be a topic of discussion. Whether that's good or bad, it's hard to say, as the ending of the manga has left readers split down the middle. Some say it's the perfect send-off. Others call it a descent into hell. If anything, Season 4 may just be the perfect culmination of Seven Deadly Sins as a whole, a well-loved and discussed franchise that slowly loses its soul. With a rushed schedule and people behind the scenes caring less about the series, it fell from the heights from being a leader in shonen to an example of why putting passion behind a project matters. Over time, we're gonna see if this story will be judged for its many sins. Now for a little test. I'm taking bets you didn't make it this far in the video. Most people don't. If you want to prove me wrong, comment your favorite character from the show down below. And if it's Escanor, because it's always Escanor, you're legally required to share this with a friend. I told the editor and the scriptwriter we won't even see 3 people down there, so hey, try and prove me wrong. But that does it for this one. Remember, if you like what we're doing here at Anime Replay, like and subscribe. We want to hear your opinions in the comment section about other things down below as well. So if you want to hear about a specific topic, come on, let us know. Until then, see you later, nerds.